Hello, and welcome to the alternate commentary table. I guess that just makes it a commentary table then, since two alternates would double negative, right? Or double positive. I don't know. Joe Aguinaldo's here. How are you, buddy?
Hello.
We're not doing Yay Boo. We're not doing Tuesday Morning Cooked. We're not even doing McGuire on Wrestling. We're giving you a little preview of AEW's Dynasty this weekend in Vancouver. If you can't tell, I'm a little under the weather. I think the Edmonton cold air might have got to me a bit, Joe.
Yes. You do sound a little sick, but kudos to you for fighting through it.
We got to do something,
working through the injuries.
Yeah. To those celebrating Orthodox Easter, and maybe you're listening to us on your drive to and from family or whatever, happy to you. And also big up to our friends Mitch and Dimitri, obviously, who are taking this weekend off. And they'll be back soon. In the meantime, though, Joe, it's kind of fitting that I'm here to do this with you because I was at AEW Dynamite and Collision this past week. I should say I was at most of AEW Collision. It was a long night, man, and I don't even know if you watched the show or not, but they did an extra long overrun on Dynamite this past Wednesday. So it went 2.5 hours on its own, and then they did like another 2 hours of Collision. So there was a match between Roosh and Anthony Bowens that was part of this TNT title. Well, we'll talk about the match coming up, but you know they're basically trying to pick pecking order and spots in the Casino Gauntlet. We'll see what happens, but either way, it was a long night, and I just had to kind of, we had to call it. It was a long day driving there before. It was a long day of show day, and we knew we had a long day driving back, so it was like, plus we had some company that we were spending some time with after the show, which we can maybe talk about later as well, but...
Nice. Well, and the thing is, too, having been to like a Dynamite / like Collision taping, it is a long night. I remember the one that I was at, it was pretty close to 2.5 hours, right? They will tend to go long.
I will say this, thank goodness they're not doing dark, and thank goodness they're not doing Ring of Honor tapings anymore. They've got the studio location they're doing back in Jacksonville now for Ring of Honor, which is great. And that's not a knock on the Ring of Honor talent. I love seeing those matches, but it's just such a different grade when you go from Ring of Honor to Dynamite to more Ring of Honor to dark.
Yeah.
And, dark hasn't been done in eons now, but I just remember I've gone through all this. This was my 5th or 6th AEW TV taping now, and I always appreciate them sending me because it gives me a better feel for what the fans are going through and experiencing and enjoying when they're there as well. So I will touch back on that a bit as we do this preview for Dynasty. But again, this Sunday from Vancouver, British Columbia, it is going to be a happening, and it starts off with a pre-show match, presumably, of Alex Windsor facing Marina Shafir. This has been kind of a mix of the United Empire taking on the Death Riders, and it's a fine warm-up match. I'm sure it'll be something good, and they'll give their best. But we get to the main card, and one of the first matches that has been announced, Chris Jericho will take on Ricochet. Chris Jericho back this past Wednesday on Dynamite on the Celebrate Wrestling Facebook and Instagram. I posted real-time video of Jericho coming out. I don't know, did you see that video, first of all?
I did, yeah. That was pretty cool. What
was your thought of the crowd reaction?
It was okay. I you know what, I think I've been spoiled with a lot of the European crowds. So like anytime I hear any North American crowd, like they don't compare, with all due respect. But I thought it was a decent pop.
20-something years ago, God, that hurts to say, but 20-something years ago, I remember Jericho was hot in his heel run. He was doing the whole King of the World thing. I think he had lost the title to Triple H by then. I think. But he was still like a hot heel. Edmonton did not care. He was putting a match against Matt Hardy, who was also a hot heel, V1, and it was a house show, so they could do whatever they wanted. And they had Jericho come out as a babyface. Didn't announce it or anything, but as soon as his music hit, kaboom. And Edmonton in that house show, which, and I'm not knocking the AEW crowd size, it was a good crowd, but with about the same crowd size or less, I dare say was 20 times louder than they were for this entrance. And that's not a knock on Jericho either. I don't know if the AEW fans, and not even because they're AEW fans, but I think everybody was kind of excited at the thought of Jericho going back to WWE. And I think that a lot of people said, okay, that could be the thing. And it's almost like you're being given the consolation prize. You know, here's your year's supply of turtle wax. Jericho's back in AEW. Okay, cool. Maybe it turns into something great, but it just still feels a little underwhelming from the fan response. I was happy to see him. I thought he looked great. I thought the promo was awesome. People popped for the list thing. But when it comes down to it, Jericho versus Ricochet, I think it's a smart move because you've got Ricochet that can go. You know, he'll be safe enough for Jericho as well. I mean, Jericho looks in great shape, but the question is, can he still go? And so I guess we'll find out with that match. But either way, what do you think?
I can't see Jericho losing his first match back. And especially against Ricochet. I think Ricochet, like you said, is the perfect opponent for him.
Well, yeah, Ricochet is unbreakable when it comes to being beat right now. He's such a hot heel.
Yeah.
Win or loss, it doesn't matter. It's
not. Yeah, that's not going to hurt him. And I think it's a good match for Jericho coming back in. It's a guy who can sort of work, around him, with him, take crazy bumps, do some crazy moves, get that wow factor in, and ultimately build some excitement before Jericho gets the win.
We fast forward to the tag team titles being on the line. Now, it was funny. I was going to bring her in on the show tomorrow, and I still might actually, because Lady Friend was with me at Dynamite, and she's actually really enjoying going to these wrestling shows, which is always a good sign when you're involved with anyone and they actually like going to wrestling with you.
Yeah, that's keeper material, dude.
Yeah, we're finding the unicorn here, friends. Unless you're the lady friend, and it's vice versa, because we've all had spouses with as wrestling fans or not wrestling fans, I'm sure, or not spouses, but even partners. And anyway, she really loved seeing Edge and Christian back in the ring doing their promo, and then FTR came out and did what they do, and this father Christian character, it's so bad. But it's so funny, and I can't get over it. Like, I love it when he pulls this stuff, and I don't know why.
It's definitely like the right kind of hokey for pro wrestling. You know what I mean?
So hokey, like it's vile, but it's so cheese and so cringe that it makes me root for the guy, and that's obviously what they're trying to do.
I think that's what it is too. It's like, it's so over the top, and it's so over the top, but it's like, and then that makes it that's what makes it cool and entertaining, is that it's almost like we're all in on it. You know what I mean?
So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say, give it to Cope and Cage for a bit. Give them some new heaters to work against as well. They slay the dragon of FTR, who of course did what they did to Beth. And I'm sure she has to make an appearance at this thing. She has to, because she's been posting some workout videos lately, and I'm just saying, it's usually the way this goes. They're terrible at keeping their own secrets.
I was gonna pick Cage and Cole, but because you picked them, I'm just gonna pick FTR because it's FTR.
You can pick the same thing. It's fine.
No. You know what? I want to see FTR keep it. I think Cage and Cope will give them a good match, but I'd still like to. I don't see why you would take the titles off FTR yet.
Joe doesn't want Stokely's mom to get some sweet Christian Cage loving. Okay. I gotta say, I was very impressed by this guy's showing, even though I was not crazy about the match itself. Will Ospreay, this is the first time I got to see him actually wrestle, or do anything. And so, I get it. He's got so much skill. The facials are there. I'm lower bowl, but I'm pretty decently close to the ring. And I'm still feeling the connection with him in there. This match with him and Jon Moxley for the Continental Championship, where there's supposed to be no outside interference, I think that this will be the rise of Will Ospreay to some degree. Do I think he's going to win, though? maybe it seems like a bit of a throwaway to have him already win a title going into Wembley, but what do I know? Moxley's still a heater, still on fire. So I think that Will Ospreay, though, is definitely back. He's at full power. Kudos to him for finding my camera in the crowd and mugging for a couple shots for me. That was nice. But in all seriousness, I think that Will is back and he's got a point to prove. And I think they've got to make this guy seem as big of a winner as they can.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I could argue either way for both guys. I think I'm going to lean towards Moxley though on this one because like I like the role that he's in. I like what he's doing, and kind of what you just said too. It seems a little early for Will to get into that spot just yet. Like I don't think it's time yet. I still think Moxley's gonna win this match.
Well, he won't have a kendo stick to shove up Ospreay's nose like he did on Wednesday, which what is with these people, okay? Like, what is with finding a random orifice and whatever?
Let's hope that they just keep it to that particular orifice and don't try to explore any further.
This is fair. This is fair. Although I did see a spot on an indie show where a guy got a flagpole up the... Anyway. Let's
don't give them any ideas. Don't give them any ideas. Mike.
Yeah, because that's the worst they can do at this point. That's the worst AEW could do. Okay. Darby Allin will face Andrade El Idolo with, of course, Don Callis. If Darby wins, he receives a future world championship match. If Andrade wins, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And I like Andrade. He looked in great shape. He was doing his suave character and everything, and he's doing his selfies at ringside. But what is the hook to this, and how is it not Darby winning at this point?
Yeah, like I agree. Like I'm with you. Like I think Andrade El Idolo is great, especially this run. But yeah, given that stipulation, given the fact that Darby has been getting somewhat of a push for the last little while, I can't not pick Darby Allin.
The Women's World Championship is on the line with Thekla taking on Jamie Hayter. Jamie challenging for the title. Thekla seems to be solidified as champion right now. Just announced she signed a new deal, a new extension with her AEW contract. So good for her. I got to say, I'm delightfully impressed by Thekla since seeing her debut. I thought, the whole toxic spider thing when it started, I was like, okay, this is a thing. But
now it's a thing.
A lot of people.
Like,
what's that?
Now it's a thing. Like it's actually a thing, like a good thing.
We've got a lot of toxicity in both promotions now between Kit Wilson and Thekla.
Yeah.
Different types of toxic, I suppose. But yeah, Jamie Hayter, pretty much an afterthought in this whole thing. She wasn't even on Dynamite. Wasn't on Collision from what I saw. And I might have missed something because, again, like I said, I missed the back half of Collision. But I don't see any fire between Jamie Hayter and Thekla at all at this point.
No, and I mean, I love Jamie Hayter. I think she's great, but I can't see Thekla losing this one.
All right, we get to that Casino Gauntlet match where the AEW TNT Championship, which has been stripped from Kyle Fletcher due to injury, which what a shame because Kyle Fletcher, I mean, there were people buying his shirt at Dynamite. There are people that are behind this guy and they see him as the next guy. I would go ahead and say I'm one of them. But,
he's great.
Yeah, I didn't buy the shirt, but I see it. I get it.
Yeah.
And to be out on injury during a critical time with a title build kind of stinks. But now we've got two guys, Tommaso Ciampa and Rush, confirmed to be in the match. These matches that happened on Dynamite and Collision, no offense, but they felt like time fillers. I mean, you don't need to have qualifying matches for a Casino Gauntlet, I feel. There's just no reason. If it's a Casino Gauntlet, it's supposed to be just random dudes coming out from the back. Why do we need to know who's in it? That takes away any surprise. But it filled some time. We got to see Ciampa live. We got to see Rush live. Both guys are great. And I don't know. You can't tell me that Ciampa was going to beat Mascara Dorada, though, when he came out. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Ciampa comes out and just looks like a beast, and nothing against Dorada, but yeah, these were pretty easy gimmies for who was going to be going to the Casino Gauntlet match.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But in terms of a pick, though?
Well, you can't, can you? Unless it's one of those two.
Yeah, actually, I was going to just say it's Ciampa's new. Like, you know.
Ciampa already won it on his first match, though.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So, I mean, they could put it back on him.
Let's give it back to him.
What do they call it? Because he was Goldie in NXT. I think, was it Silvery in I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? We're just here to talk about the wrestling. Interesting move here. I appreciated it, though, because it was supposed to be Proto-Okada of Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita, or Okada, I should say, teaming up to take on the Bucks. But now it is Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, with Okada declaring, "I'm Michael Jordan, you're Scottie Pippen." He didn't finish it off with "bitch," which I really wanted, but because I'm trying to, again, explain to lady friend why Okada is flipping off the crowd during his entire match. I say, you don't understand. That's his thing. This is his thing. This is all he does, is comes out and flips people off and smiles with the biggest poop-eating grin he can. I said, don't get me wrong, this guy was great, but this is his gimmick now. So explaining that to her, she was like, yeah, I didn't like him, but now she gets it. So I don't know. I think you have to give it to Okada and Takeshita just to fuel that feud a little more with whoever gets the pin, Takeshita, saying that he's better than Okada, and then that sets up for their match down the line, right?
So it's funny because I agree that you've got to continue this heat between the two, but I'm gonna pick opposite. I'm gonna say the Young Bucks win by pinning Okada, and then that just makes them, Takeshita and Okada, more pissed off at each other.
I like that. That works too.
Yeah,
that works too. So it could be a great one either way. And then we get to the main event, as announced so far, as we're recording this on the Saturday, obviously. MJF defending the AEW Championship against Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, who fancies himself a ring sizer, after knocking out MJF, did not steal the diamond ring, but instead tried it on and then gave it back. Nevertheless, they've ditched the whole Kenny Omega's insides could explode at any second angle, which is good. And it's MJF now in a position of, I might lose to the best bout machine. What is your excitement going into this match, Joe?
I don't see MJF losing this match.
I think I agree, but I will say this, and a lot of people I know felt the same way after this. It was neat to see Kenny bring up the fact that it had been like almost 25 years since he had been in Edmonton, because I was at that show, and I have photos somewhere around here that I'm going to scan and find and post of Kenny Omega at Monster Pro Wrestling in Edmonton, Alberta. He was skinny. He was covered in baby oil. He was wearing blue tights and like curls for days, right?
Yeah.
And I had heard about this Kenny Omega kid, Kenny Omega. And I was like, okay, well, he's pretty good. Even back then, he was pretty good. Not knowing he would become what he would become, obviously. But I do feel that this could be Kenny on his way out without them saying it. Because I think when they first started toying with the angle, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be his last one. I think we've got a long run of Kenny Omega still. But I think if you're Kenny Omega and you understand wrestling, you care about wrestling as much as you say you do, that this is your chance to start elevating the next lineup, right? And there's nobody you can push higher than MJF right now, or harder. So, to me, through some screwball finish, whatever happens, MJF, Kenny Omega. Your thoughts on the prediction, first of all, and then I got a bonus question for you.
Well, again, I agree. I think and it's weird because I don't want to answer it the way I'm going to answer it, but it's like just if you look at it from behind the curtain a little bit, it doesn't make sense for MJF to lose. I agree 100% with you that I think Kenny Omega is now starting to transition into that part of his career where he does want to start building talent. You know, like giving back to the business. And I might argue, maybe not on the same timeline, but I think Moxley is starting to get into that area as well, just given what he's been doing lately. So yeah, 100% agree. I think Kenny Omega, like he's still gonna be around for a while, but I do agree that this might be the start of him where he's like, okay, I got to start giving back, and MJF's the perfect person to give that back to.
Well, yeah, and I think that's how it goes now. The bonus question on this is, do we see a Hangman Adam Page appearance in this somehow?
I'm gonna say no because I think it's too soon. I think you gotta wait a little bit more. Because like didn't they just fight the last pay-per-view? Like let that cool down a bit more and then, bring it back. Like again, I think you can bring that back. Don't get me wrong, but I think Dynasty would be a little too soon.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think it's too soon for John Cena to be hosting WrestleMania?
You know what? I do, but it's WWE. They're gonna do WWE things. Are you surprised by this?
No, but we're going to talk about that on the main show later on this week because there's thoughts. But nevertheless, this is our preview of AEW Dynasty coming up in Vancouver this Sunday night, tomorrow night if you're listening on the Saturday when this posts. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say that from the Dynamite experience, Joe, and I'm not saying that, guys, you should know me well enough now. You know me well enough, Joe, that I don't sell out my opinion just because I get a ticket to the show. Okay, I don't sell out my opinion just because I get interviews with the stars. It's great, but I'll tell you flat out, I've been to some great Dynamite collisions. I've been to some stinkers, to quote Jericho on his promo this past week. There's been some real long days and nights, right? Thank God, rest in peace, Rampage. But overall, this show, as someone who lives in the area as well, great to see some local talent, people I know on the card, which if I'm in any other market, I'm feeling the same way with all these other stars that come in. But I thought the greatest thing about all this was the fact that the show Dynamite itself was really tight. Really tight. They fit a lot in there. I mean, they did go long, but they fit a lot in there. It was good and was fun to watch. Collision was all right. Again, I'm an older man now, so it's like bed. But I thought that through it all, this was a great go-home run into the pay-per-view. It actually makes me excited to watch the pay-per-view, which I can't always say about Sunday night AEW shows because they're Sunday night AEW shows and we all have lives on Monday. But it also comes down to doing what we can to try and fit in all these shows. And I know you don't watch as close as you used to back in the day, but given what you've heard and given what you've talked about now, I mean, what do you think going into this pay-per-view overall? Is this one that you feel you want to watch, or is this one you feel like, I can just skip it and find out what happens?
No, like generally speaking, even though I don't follow like AEW as much as I used to, I generally, for the most part, do look forward to the pay-per-views because if nothing else, I know I'm going to get good wrestling. And that's still something that I enjoy watching is a good match. Quite honestly, looking at this card though, just like there's not a match here that I can't say that I'm at least not somewhat curious about, if not totally interested in checking out. Like I might argue that I'm the Gauntlet match, whatever, but only because I only know that Ciampa and Rush are in it. But every other match, including the Alex Windsor Marina Shafir match, I'm curious. This is a card that I would want to I do want to watch, and I would go out of my way and tune in.
The question is Ronda Rousey in Vancouver this weekend?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's not far. It's a quick flight.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
But even if she is, I think the extent of any physicality is she walks out and cuts a promo and that's it. Like, you know what I mean?
Geez, she murdered Tony Storm and we haven't heard from her. So,
oh, okay, fair. Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of allegedlys regarding Tony Storm, but I'm not going to say anything until there's an official announcement because that's not fair to anybody in any situation. Nevertheless, he's Joe Aguinaldo. I'm Mike McGuire. We'd love to hear your thoughts going into AEW's latest pay-per-view, AEW Dynasty. Comment on the social media pages, on Instagram, on Facebook. Can you tell the cold medicine's getting to me? I'm trying to remember the word social media right now. Like it's been a day, Joe. It's been a day. But comment under this post on our social media for this episode. Don't forget, McGuire on Wrestling still coming back for you. I've got an interview with Jinder Mahal coming up that I've been trying to get to this week, but again, dealing with travel and a little bit of illness, so it's a very different interview too. It's for this 10 minutes with Mike thing I was doing, and so it's actually Joe was actually the first one of this, but I'm going to bring it on the Celebrate Wrestling feed as well because it's Jinder Mahal for goodness sake.
Yes,
and then of course we'll have our breakdown of Dynasty on Monday. Hopefully going to hear from Dave Meltzer that day as well. And of course, our WrestleMania preview as well. It's a busy week on the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed. And also one of the hardest weeks to get people to listen because everybody's doing their WrestleMania week stuff. So it's, if you can make time for us, we'll make it worth your while. But Joe, thank you for your time here. I'll tell you off the air what happened when we went out for dinner with MVP, but safe to say, lady friend and MVP hit it off real well.
Nice.
Yep. And not talking about wrestling at all because, again, she's just getting it.
All right, fair enough.
In fact, her biggest takeaway from the show, and
right.
She's so proud of this, I'm going to mention it now. Her biggest takeaway from the show was that she wanted to start a Facebook album called The Shoes of Wrestling.
The shoes
because she was obsessed with all their boots.
Oh my Lord. And you know what? That would that'll get some followers, man.
Yeah, probably.
Would get some followers.
Probably. Anyway, that's it. Any questions for me before you go, Joe, when it comes to this AEW thing?
Just again, overall, good time.
Oh yeah. From Dynamite and Collision, yeah, we had a great time. I did also get to meet Shelton Benjamin face to face finally.
Nice.
After all these years, and so here's the quick story. Okay, I'd been texting with MVP beforehand. I just said like, hey man, like if you got time, like are you flying out in the morning or tonight? Like if you got time, I'd love to buy you that drink I owe you from 10 years ago. Right. Like yeah man, absolutely, let's do it. Cool. So then I have to figure out how we're gonna meet up because he's got to get to the hotel and I'm just in fan zone basically. But before this, I even said, hey man, we're bouncing from Collision early. Do you want us to meet you at the hotel or do you need a ride? And being a skeptical wrestler, because again, we're buddies, but it's always that line of, how good of buddies are we actually? And you have to earn that trust. And I said, he texts back 2 words to me and he goes, who's we? And I'm like, it's me and my girlfriend who isn't quite sure of what she just watched for the last 3 hours. He's like, okay, gotcha. I was like, yeah, can you pick up me and Shelton at the building? So then we go hop the curb. We get there, and all of a sudden police lights go off behind me. And I'm like, no, I'm in trouble. No, they're there to get a guy who is having a crisis, unfortunately. And police come take care of what they need to take care of. Meanwhile, I'm just like, thank God I'm not getting arrested picking up MVP and Shelton Benjamin for hopping the curb to get them, right? Shelton says it's too cold, so he goes back to his hotel. And then we find a place to eat with P and a lady friend. And it was a great night, man. We talked maybe like 10 minutes about wrestling and just about life and everything else. And for those that wonder what these people are like when they're not wrestling, again, just a banner guy. So I gotta say nothing but the best for him. And yeah, I'll probably have more stories down the line, but it was a good week, a great birthday week too. Thanks everybody that sent the birthday shout outs, and yeah, we'll do it all again next year. So
nice.
Yeah, buddy. But there you have it. Joe Aguinaldo, appreciate you, and thanks for putting up with a sick ass me today.
Oh no, man, anytime, dude.
And for those of you listening, I hope you enjoyed this preview again. Leave us your thoughts on AEW Dynasty going into, and don't be afraid to join the social media. We'll have a discussion thread and a yay boo for after the show as well. Joe, thank you.
Thank you.